Hi, my name is Heleen. I'm a visual artist, and my practice levitates between digital art and sculpture and video and kinetic art. And yeah, the concept focuses on how we contemplate ideas of nature and the intersection between the artificial and the natural, and a little bit like exploring the potential futuristic narratives. I'm absolutely not a coder. I didn't know anything. I don't know. I mean, I'm learning more and more. But I will show you a little bit how me working with NAP enables me to dive into code and understand it a little bit more. I come from the electronic music scene. That was my kind of upbringing. After I studied fine arts, I was really drawn to more experimental places at that time for me, and the electronic music scene in general. I had this like big architectural spaces where I could test everything and experiment with light projection and other media, and it was an amazing time, and still my heart is there. But I got older, and the times were like late, so I needed to do something else. And they said, like, what do you want to do then? And I was like, okay, then I will build the stage or design the stage. And this is a stage I did at Draaimolen Festival in the Netherlands, and it's a beautiful festival where they put art and like the whole visual experience on the same level as the music. So that's really nice. And this is the chapel I designed. And yeah, I mean, it is nice to what I really liked about the scene is of course the live element of it. It's really exhilarating to do the visuals there and to see it in action, but it also has its limitations, because yeah, people are sometimes not really focused. You cannot really direct the experience. So from 2018, I started focusing on more creating installations for museums, and the first one I'm going to talk about, I made together with NAP, and with Tim and with Koen and with Stijn and everybody. Yay! They're really friendly, I can tell. Yeah, so this is Habitat. It was presented in the Next Museum in Amsterdam in 2020, during COVID, actually. So it was a weird time. And it is a data-driven installation where we made a projection, and the base were fossils and stones and corals from the Naturalis Biodiversity Center. And we created new life in some game-like experience. And the idea was a little bit would you be able to experience nature in digital form, and would it evoke the same feelings or also, would this be the only way that we can preserve nature through archives, because everything is protected or inaccessible? I was, for instance, in Haarlem. It's close to Amsterdam, and I could only see a nature reserve through little holes in a wall, and it was so strange. I was like, yeah, this is where we are going. So it's scary. I think this has sound. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Then I can a little bit softer. It doesn't really matter if. Anyway, so yeah, the inspiration for the work was after my residency at the Institute for Geosciences, and I was talking with this professor, and he studied biological material from 40 million years ago, and it was amazing because he looked at that and he saw this change of a weather system, like the heating of the earth over multiple thousands of years. And he was saying, this is happening now, but then in a shorter period of time, 100 years. So yeah, we spoke a lot, and he showed me all these microscopes, and I could access every microscope they had there. And the most special one was the SAM, the electronic microscope. And it was, for me, like this whole new world opened up. I was so mesmerized by the constructed digital feel of nature itself. It was like a code. So yeah, I was that was like a main inspiration actually for Habitat. So yeah, the work started out as an archival research, and we collected specimens from the archives of Naturalis. And yeah, we were there for a week or something with the collection manager and just picking out like what would work, what is nice shape, how can we translate this into kind of new worlds, unseen worlds. And we scanned everything, and it was in the archives. It was really tactile, and we could really see the object. But when we digitized it, it became something completely different and abstract, but it was still felt like something really natural or something. So these scans are used as a container for the various worlds in Habitat. And yeah, we paired it with cinematic documentation over the whole world, and I could I filmed in several places, and yeah, so all the input actually in the application is found footage, and it's all natural, it's authentic. So let me see. Here you can see a little bit about the software of NAPLabs and how I can use it. It is actually, they actually created an instrument for me. So it was very plain, and it is super intuitive. The software allows me to completely customize the appearance of the work. I have a lot of parameters that I can access and change the fog you see here, and I can draw hairs on the objects. It's like millions of hairs, or I think we pushed it to 5 million hairs or something, and it runs just easily. Yeah, me too, but in another way, I think. I have dreams. Yeah, so, but yeah, you have like this every world is I call it like this its own weather system, and it's beautiful, and you can alter the course you go into. It's like you can go on a path, or you can even go in first person and like a game go into the world. And next to this, they have a napkin, but Tim already showed a little bit about it, and it is a visual coding environment, I think, right? For non-coders like me, I don't know anything, but it allowed me to get a better understanding of code and how it works and what you cannot touch, like scenes. I fucked up the app multiple times. Oh, great. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I was a test case. But it's really nice. And for me, I'm like really proud when I can even alter the application itself. So if I need to have more depth in something or a faster rotation, I can alter this in napkin in this environment. So that's amazing for me, because I got a better understanding of code. Yeah. So, and yeah, you can see here, you can alter the texture and how the video wraps around the objects. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, in the artwork we make use of sensors. We implemented the octopus sensors, distance sensors. So we had like 3 sculptures in the room in the next museum, and people would walk around it. And I'm not really a fan of like really one-on-one instant gratification sensory experience. I find this a little bit boring, I think, or it has to be done really well. And for me, it's because they work in delays. So people that enter the space did not really know if they were affecting the work. So they were sometimes really frustrated. And I like that in a way, because it was almost like a social experiment. Like, what will they do? And for me, it symbolizes how humans interact with nature, and it's also in delays, and we don't know what we're doing. Actually, it's not immediately noticeable. So in the end, they just gave themselves over to the spectacle, and yeah, I thought that was a good way. Some frustration. Let me see. So for the sound, I collaborated with Stijn, also part of NOP. He's a coder and a musician, and he developed this. He wrote the whole audio engine, and he also developed a plug-in or a way to distort field recordings. So a lot of the input you hear is for instance, 2 rocks we smashed together and then stretched this as a 4-minute long composition. And then it was like this layered composition of earthly tones, and we mixed this with field recordings from natural environments. So it was really a beautiful process to work with him. He's a great musician as well. Yeah, this is some different world. I don't know if you see it properly. Yeah, water flows up and down. Okay. So I also work with Leslie. Really like the whole team, actually. But it's really nice. Yeah. And we built this amazing capture module that we could capture this large-scale, full-resolution print of the work as well. So that was a really nice addition to, and it's really big. Like it has no. I mean, it's like easy, 2 meters high, full resolution. Yeah. So yeah, we're constantly updating the application. Habitat is morphing into new ways, new constellations, constantly new worlds. So it's never the same, and that's what I really like, and it also keeps it interesting for myself. It's traveling quite a bit, and one of the last things I did was create a scenography for the Boston Ballet, and that was also amazing to work with this ballet there. Yeah, it was really great. All right, and then I have no idea what the time is, but I think I'm really yeah, it's not gonna be as long as so this is another work recreated. It's called Abiosis. It's more kinetic and more sculptural. And it was for the Floriade World Expo in 2022. Or yeah, I think so. Abiosis means the absence of life, and the concept behind the work is the primordial soup theory, because they had a big water thing. And I really wanted to kind of artistically provide insights into complex systems and how chain reactions manifest. Yeah, it also draws a connection to how future like technological life could come into existence. And it was a lot. I worked with Tim on this. We wanted to do so much in very little time. But it was interesting, right? So this is a water installation, and we had like geyser structures. We had floating islands, like tectonic plates. We had this mechanical being, what was an abstraction of forms in nature that we see a lot. Like snails and leaves and corals, and we had this whole field of an airfield under the water, so we could draw in the water and make waves there, and a sensor system on the terrace, so the visitor could interact with the work and trigger randomized sequences we built. So this is Tim with a swan. I really like that photo. Yeah, so the software controlling the whole system was, of course, NAP. And Tim created this for me, and we used his sequencer that we had like 50 compressors and 4 or 6 motors and a whole mist installation and sensors, and they all needed to kind of operate simultaneously. So it was good for me to kind of play with this configuration of every motor and device, or what would it do. So this is the sequencer, but you saw it better when Tim was showing it. Yeah, we pre-programmed like these various behaviors, and we had like the speed of every motor, and everything was running on a Raspberry Pi, and we had this cabinet, electrical cabinet with all this stuff, so the mist pumps and the Raspberry Pi and all these things. They were all like it was really chaos actually, but nice chaos. I will tell you a little bit more about the cabinet, but we even had like an online scheduler allowing us to have remote activation, and also like this on-off button for the museum. So that was really nice. But oh yeah, and we had this beautiful matrix. I think you wrote it especially for this, right? Yeah. So we developed a matrix for the airfield, and we can expand to, well, limitless. I think limit is motors or compressors, and we could really draw underwater. So yeah, we wrote like this. I don't know, 30 different behaviors, and that was triggered by the visitors. All right. Well, yeah. Well, the this is a movie, but I cannot make it move. No, it doesn't do that anymore. I don't know why. See? No. Yeah, so the realization was a pain in the ass, but it was nice. It was pretty heavy. We encountered numerous obstacles during this month. Working on site, I don't know if you heard about the Floriade, probably not, but it was the last time they would do this because it was too much money and a lot of hassle, and nobody liked it in the end. So it was really a big political kind of struggle, and we all felt it there in the times there. So we had a lot of fights with like the contractors, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, we just do water in the cabinet with all the computers," and we were like, "No, because we need to have this separate because it's, you know, fragile." We really had to fight the natural elements because at one point the whole cabinet filled up with water, like to the roof, and everybody was like, "Oh," and we were like, "Yeah." So the installation stopped working, and that was, and everybody was like, "Yeah, don't put it on because it's gonna blow up things or whatever." And then one day we didn't do anything. It just started working again. It just started moving. So it was really beautiful. It just revived itself. So conceptually, it was also a pretty beautiful moment. Dismantling the work after, I think, a year, I don't know anymore, a year and a half, well, I don't know, was also a remarkable experience because there were all these crayfish and colonies of mussels and I don't know, crabs and I don't know, everything. It was like, it was steaming with life. And it was like, it became a nursery for small fish. And because we had made a foundation in the water. So underneath it was all this kind of stuff. So it was beautiful. And we left the foundation in the water and it's still there and growing, I heard. So the work is about evolution, and the artwork is also continuously evolving. I really like that, to keep it nice for myself as well. So this was a presentation in the Stedelijk Museum Schiedam, and the water here has been replaced by sand, and it felt a little bit more dystopian, and I don't know, it felt like when there was water, there was still a little bit hope or something. And here it was like hope left. And people dove more into this thing of like, what is this creature? Who made this? Why is it here? And how long is it here? And where are the people, or are there people? So I really like that aspect. It's like, you know, it was a possibility for more reflection on the idea. So yeah, I really like that. Let me see. Yeah, so it keeps on evolving. It's very modular, so we can really play with that. I can play with that. And this is the last presentation we had. We played with, it was in Rotterdam, in V2. I don't know if you, well, maybe you probably don't know it, but it was really nice because now it was almost, it felt like it was, you were submerged into the water, under the water level. And it really felt like this reflections we did were almost like this biological cave paintings or something. It reminded me of that. So I don't know. It was like it was a beautiful new way of presenting the work. And yeah, at the moment I'm now the video does do it. Maybe it wasn't a video. Anyway, I'm working on a lot of projects at the moment. I'm doing something for the Dutch Design Week, and that's on the end of the year. This work we just had a show in the Barbican. Is me and Daniel de Bruin. We built this together, and we are now creating this interactive way of controlling the work. So it really becomes a dialogue between human and machine.